going?
Yeah. Red light?
Yeah. Red light, yeah.
We've been talking about this video for 3-4 years.
I know, and we had plans to film it right before. Where do I look?
I think it's the main camera.
This one's the main camera, yeah. We were gonna film this right before COVID, and this is one of those where we're gonna do it, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So this is
coming.
exciting. I've been thinking about doing this intro so much, you would think that I would have something ready to say.
So today we're here to look at modular synthesizers.
Yes. What is this thing? Look at this.
This is epic. I've never seen my synth from that angle.
Yeah, look at this
really
thing.
Cool.
This is a spaceship.
Yeah, that's one of the fun things about it.
What's a synth?
I think a synth broadly is any electronic music or just sound making device.
I kind of associate the synth just like has an oscillator in it, but that's not right. Just any synthetic.
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing,
Yeah.
but I guess some synths exist that are generating the sound through other means, or maybe that's more sampling. But they all kind of cross over now because so many devices can do so many different things. But yeah, I'd say if you're electronically producing a sound, that's a synth.
It's a synth.
Yeah.
And then this is a modular synth.
Yeah. So,
and then this is like the modular synth final boss. That's what you have here.
I love that. A modular synth just means that you have modules that make it up. That means that you can customize it. So it really can be any kind of synthesizer you want. Do you want a synth that has 4 different filter options, or a certain type of reverb, or you want to be able to control not just the usual synth parameters like pitch and tone, but you also want to be able to have it randomize notes, or there's so many options. It's basically like, what would you want an electronic instrument to be able to do? You can probably find the right module for it and pair it with the other modules of the other options that you want to have in your synth.
Because looking at this thing as a whole, it's just like, how could you possibly make sense of this? Like, it's not like this is a modular synth. Like this, if anyone has a modular synth,
right?
This
you can
yours.
have tiny ones. You can, it could be a 3-module synth. It could be I don't know how many I have here. Probably about 100.
It's just a combination of like, here's one module.
There's one module,
right? And then you can buy all these different modules that do all these different things, and that are crazy in all these different ways, and build one from scratch, and then patch them together to do different...
Yeah, so the patch cables is another big thing. The patch cables make connections between any 2 things. So for instance, the traditional synthesizer is an oscillator that makes a sound, like just a tone, and then you would patch another module, let's say that's controlling the pitch. So you'd patch up the pitch to the oscillator.
In a regular, like this thing?
Yeah, that has something controlling the pitch of the oscillator.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's
behind the scenes.
Module.
Yeah, you don't get to change that connection because that's all, on the circuit board or whatever. It's underneath the faceplate.
Yeah.
But on a modular synth, you could say, well, I've got this pitch signal controlling the oscillator. I want to use the same pitch signal. I'm going to plug another cable into it and use it to control the brightness of the synthesizer. Or use it to control the amount of reverb that every note gets.
Some of that I really understood well.
Yeah.
Like obviously being a guitar player, this kind of reminds me of like a guitar pedal board.
Yeah, so if you think of a guitar pedal board, you can change the order of what your pedals are in, and that changes the sound of the effects. With modular, not only are you doing it with audio, but you have what's called CV or control voltage.
Yeah, okay, that's something that's way different here, because when I first saw modular synths, I thought, okay, guitar pedals.
Yeah.
You plug in your guitar, this is where you're getting your main signal, and then you go to, I don't know, distortion, reverb, and then it goes out. And then this is your distortion, reverb, and your guitar pedals, but you can change the order of them. But it's more than that.
It's more than that too,
it's
because
not just
of
audio.
Control voltage. So control voltage is just an electrical voltage. On the Eurorack modular here, it's usually between 0 and 5 or 0 and 10 volts. You don't really need to know what that means even. It's just a signal that's either low or high or anywhere in between, and it can be moving at any rate. And the best way to think of it is like invisible hands. This is what modular people say. So if you have let's say you're playing a guitar,
doing something?
Right?
And so that we can show people what it is? What is this? Like when you look at this, can you tell what's going on at all?
No, you have to
This is just what you were doing in your last video.
I know what's happening in here because I built the patch. But if I just walked up to this and someone else did it, I'd have to look through and trace all the connections. And if I don't know what one of the modules does, I'd have to learn about it.
Get a shot here. Like your instrument is this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a spaceship.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels like you're controlling a ship for
And
sure.
even if you go to every single module, could we turn the lights off too, just for
Oh,
just
yeah,
to get the
yeah,
shot?
yeah.
It's full on a spaceship from like a sci-fi movie. Like, look at this. Look at this thing.
It feels super fun.
This is your instrument, yeah. Okay,
But
so
yeah,
let's
let
get
me
something
demonstrate
going.
some CV. So
Start from scratch.
So one thing about pulling out chords when you're dealing with a huge synth is just try and get the same color. Like for instance, right now I'm taking out all the black ones, and that just keeps them organized.
And I imagine you color code them as
These
you're
cables
patching
are color
something
coded
in.
by length. So that's
Oh,
just like
okay.
if you know where you want to patch something, you can guess the length of chord you want and just reach for the right size.
That's another thing here too. Unlike, if you're building out a sound in a audio program, we're undoing your work here and you can't get it back.
No,
like, this patch is gone.
I recorded it out, and that's the only version of it that will ever exist.
I guess you could take a photo of it, a really high resolution photo.
Maybe,
that would be kind of like saving it.
But there's so many times where the tiniest shift in a knob can affect a lot of things downstream, so you would never get
like
it
a butterfly effect
back to the original thing you had.
That seems to be something really cool about modular synth, is that it is, fully synth. It's synthetic, but there's a realness to it, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And that it's a one-off thing that you created and there's no getting it back.
Yeah, I think that changes your mindset and your approach to it.
It's kind of a performance in that way, if that makes sense.
And then you can just find a spot for them on this cable hanger.
So many cables. I like how these two have...
Oh, yeah, so these are called
Maybe,
stack cables. And that means that if you want to double up, send the same signal somewhere else, you can just plug it into that same patch cable rather than finding a splitter module.
These can be used for an audio signal and CV.
Yeah, so that's the other interesting thing is audio is just a wave.
Uh-huh.
And CV is just a slow wave. Well, CV could be any speed of wave, but when you're hearing a sound, it's just like the air vibrating super fast. When you're converting a real sound into a recording, all it's doing is changing that air vibration into a pattern of electricity.
Yeah.
So it's actually the exact same.
It's just the same thing. It's just voltage going up and down on these.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess so, depending on how you use the signal, it's either CV or audio.
Yeah, like if you plugged in a CV to the audio output, you would hear probably just something that sounds like a bunch of noise or a bunch of click sounds.
Or if it's a really slow CV, you wouldn't hear it because the wave is not fast enough for us to hear.
Exactly. But also that means you can use audio as CV, which basically would be the equivalent of jiggling a knob crazy fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like at the speed of sound.
Where should I put the yellow ones?
Oh, it doesn't matter as long as they
go
together. The thing I was going to say about the invisible hands is let's say you have a synth and you're making it go wow, 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 wow. And you want that wow, wow to happen. Instead of you having to turn the filter knob, wow, wow, you can just get a wave that goes up and down at that speed, and then plug that into the filter, and then it's wowing on its own.
I want to be able to make a patch, you would call it, something that sounds musical and hopefully pretty from this. And my goal just above that is to also understand it. Maybe if we build something from scratch, that we can understand what it's doing and just start with the absolute basics. With this machine, we're really jumping into the deep end of modular synth.
There are some great ways to do this stuff without even buying the modules. There's free software.
Yeah.
Some of it actually emulates exactly some of these modules.
Yeah, and they even have the fake patch cables and stuff.
Yeah, so if you want to give it a try without spending a ton of money.
Yeah, because that's another thing. How much is a module?
It depends on the size. It depends on how new they are, all that. But a few $100s is probably the average for one of these module. Yeah, some of them would be $100. Some of them would be $500. Some will be over $1,000.
Wow.
And it's nuts. Yeah, and I'm super lucky. I do a lot of videos about these that are viewed by a lot of people. So probably about half this system I did not pay for. You can get them used like any other instrument.
Yeah, of
you
course.
Save a bit by getting used instruments.
But if you were to buy this thing from scratch, this is
This is tens of thousands.
Yeah, this is a new car.
Oh yeah, this actually is more expensive than the car I drive, which is
it being modular, you can always add to it.
I should point out this is an insane synth, and this is a big passion of mine, and of
course
I'm very fortunate to have this. But you can do a lot with a much smaller setup that
Yeah.
might be like $2,000 or $3,000, which also, you know, it's a ton of money.
Yeah.
But it's like the same amount as like if you were to buy a really nice
really
drum
nice-
kit
yeah,
or
really nice
you know,
guitar.
yeah.
When I was a kid, if I got a really, really nice guitar, it'd be like $300-$400.
Yeah, more cost
Modular
prohibitive
synth.
here.
Yeah.
You could if you
yeah.
were, see, if you can solder or solder, as the
Solder.
Americans might say.
What's solder?
You can get modules actually on the cheap. That you can get
Really?
kits that are like $20 to $30, and it's the faceplate, the circuit board, and knobs. And if you put it together yourself, solder the connections, it's that cheap. It'll
Really?
take you, you know, depending on the module, a couple hours, maybe a day.
Huh.
That is one way that some people build really great setups for not nearly as much money.
You first start with having a synth.
Yeah, and then actually they're also, I'm just going to grab this, there are
Yeah.
synths that are semi-modular, so like this is
Yeah.
the Moog Matriarch, which is semi-modular, so it's got patch points
Oh,
here.
okay.
So some of it is a fixed
Okay.
architecture synth, you can play it with
And
no
you have
patch
a keyboard.
cables.
Having the keyboard too
yeah.
really makes it like way more accessible because
Yeah.
this doesn't even have a keyboard.
No,
So
but there's a way to
confusion-
connect a keyboard if you want.
Yeah. Oh, I guess
So-
there's a way to connect anything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could
Yeah,
plug
exactly.
a guitar into this.
You could plug a guitar into this with the
or
right
whatever.
module. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where these go.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you got a whole system. I love all the visual stuff too, and that there's a spring reverb even connected. Like you can connect anything to a modular synth.
Yeah.
Okay, so absolute basics, because this is so like all at once is so confusing.
I guess here's a good
There's-
place to start.
yeah.
We'll plug in an oscillator and just get a
Okay.
basic sound going. Because one interesting
What is
thing
an
about
oscillator?
modulator, an oscillator is just the thing that makes tones. So
Yeah. It just vibrates,
yeah.
oscillates. What is this?
So this is just a really nice quality analog VCO, which stands for voltage controlled oscillator.
Because it's analog, there's a physical thing that's vibrating in there.
Yeah, I don't actually know exactly how that works.
Yeah. I don't really
I've
know
read
how
up on
oscillators
it
work either.
so many times, and there's something electronic that's vibrating there,
Uh-huh.
and
there it is.
This tone.
Okay, so we have this that is now producing that tone, and we have that's just an out. Oh
Yeah, so there's different
Oh,
waveforms.
geez.
Oh, sorry. This is if we.
Okay, so hold on. At the end,
Oh, yeah.
at the end of this, that's just your output. So that's just
Yeah. So I'm plugging it
connecting
into
the
a
speakers.
mixer that goes to the speaker in our audio recorder.
So this is everything feeds into that. And this is all the
The oscillator, right? We've got a choice between a few different types of waveforms. Some of them turn the pitch up.
Ooh.
You know, they have different timbres.
Could you bring that back to
Oops,
like
sorry.
I guess you could just play this.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting a song. Oh, that's cool. Oh, you can actually like. Oh, all right. It's like a theremin. If you can get really good at turning knobs,
Yeah.
you can play just this one. I don't know what the.
Yeah, so a lot of knobs
Yeah,
won't
okay.
do anything if you're not patching it a certain way. That's the main control is the pitch or the speed that it's oscillating.
So far, I understand this. This is making a tone. You can change its pitch. Is there like a
Yeah.
mute button?
Well, that's what the thing I want to explain next is
Yeah.
like the oscillator is just gonna keep going. It's making that tone, and we think of instruments as like you press a button and a sound happens, or you
Yeah.
just pluck a string and a sound happens. With electronic music, sort of have that idea as well because you think of a synthesizer
Yeah.
with a keyboard attached, and you're like, when I press a note, you get a sound. But actually, what's happening is the oscillators are constantly going.
Yeah.
And the keys let the sound through.
Uh-huh.
In the same way, instead of plugging this directly to our speaker, I would plug it first into what's called a voltage-controlled amplifier
Yeah.
or a VCA.
Wait, back a little bit. So if this is your oscillator,
Yeah.
and then if you plugged in this out, this patch, into like a module that had keys, then you could play it like a keyboard.
Well, you would be plugging the keyboard's pitch output to the pitch input of the oscillator. Then you would also be plugging the keyboard's gate output, which is like, is the note on or off,
Yeah.
into what I was just about to show you here, the VCA.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Even a synth has a ton of components that we just don't really think about, and
Exactly.
a lot of these are those components. On their
exactly,
own.
yeah. You've got an
okay.
oscillator, you've definitely got a VCA in a normal synth. You just don't see them and you can't interact with them
Yeah.
quite as directly. Now I'm putting this through this VCA, and then I'm going to take the output of the VCA to the speaker,
What is a VCA?
the voltage-controlled amplifier. So
Now-
now the voltage-controlled amplifier has a volume control for that tone we were sending it. But there's also control voltage control over that volume control. So what I'm going to do is
Okay.
send one of these slow waves to control the volume, right?
Basically, this is another oscillator. These are your controlling invisible hands
control the pitch at the same time.
Oh, okay. So now you have.
Hear it. Right? And then I control the amount of that pitch change. Right? Dialing in the size of that control voltage wave. And if I zero it out, then we don't hear that effect at all.
Okay, so right now, this guy is set up to just do this
Yeah.
in CV.
Yeah.
And now basically those invisible hands are being applied through these two patches that are split to both the pitch
Yep.
of the oscillator as well as the volume of the oscillator. So it's like you have invisible hands here.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's really like you're building music from the ground up.
Yeah.
Like from just a sound, you have to sculpt into it.
Oh, it's so sad. So if I unplug this,
Yeah.
then we get nothing.
Yeah, because it's controlling the volume and the pitch.
Okay, so where's the volume?
This as the volume amount, or just where you plug the volume and control in.
This module looks really crazy because just this one module.
Yeah.
But it's simple, it just makes a pitch.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, modular ends up looking complicated because it gives you access to almost every possible parameter, where maybe a lot of times there's something you're never going to use or very rarely going to use. And like most patches I make, I'm not using every single module, definitely not using every single input on every single module.
For our purposes, this is just making a pitch. We're bringing it to the speakers, and then we have something else changing the knobs. This is our invisible hands going, Can we turn it back on?
Yeah.
Can we turn this one? Well, this one, can we just get a constant volume from this?
Yeah, so we can just like unplug that and then turn the volume up.
Oh, so now nothing's controlling the volume knob. We have this making a sound, and then we have this controlling one of the knobs on the pitch.
Yeah. But one thing we could do that would just immediately sound much nicer is have a sequencer control the pitch. Yeah. But if I just like hit play on this sequencer and then plug, I don't know what's gonna come out, but
what is a sequencer?
A sequencer, oh yeah, I'll turn this off. The easiest way to explain a sequencer is just that it makes events happen in time. This is a 16-step sequencer, and it's actually, this is a module and this is a separate module, but they interface behind. So this one, the speed of it is controlling both of them. You can tell by the lights always being in sync.
Can you give me the simplest sequence on this?
So what I'm going to do is plug one of these sequencer outputs to the what's called the volt per octave input, and that just means that it tracks according to the musical scales that we tend to use. So like 1 volt, it changes it exactly by an octave. If you had a 1 volt signal going in and then changed it to a 2 volt signal, it would go 1 octave higher.
Okay, so it only changes in like musical intervals.
Well, it's just that, you know, before I had this knob where I can control the amount of that pitch bend. On this one, there's no amount control because it's fixed to that.
It's fixed to a major
system.
scale.
Not necessarily a major scale, but it's just that you know a volt is an octave. And from that, you can determine like a 1/12 of an octave is a semitone, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, is this a sequence right here in the...
Yeah, so this is going across here, and each of these outputs is playing a different sequence, which you can control by these knobs. So if I just like... When it goes to the first step, start moving this slider up. This will give us a sequence that roughly should be going up. Let's turn up the volume. Oh, it's super loud. Yeah.
And so, what do these do then? So I understand this is the sequence and it's going through them.
So on each step, like let's say I just hold one step, I can choose what note I want coming out of this 8th output.
Whoa.
So let's say we go... Well, let's figure out what scale we're in. This sounds like pretty much major.
Majors, yeah.
That's, I think, is our tonic. So let's say we start on our tonic. Second note is 5th. Next one is the octave up. We could do something like that again. And then I'm just going to quickly fill in like random other scale notes for the rest to just make this faster. Now when I let go, it plays. It's super like video gamey.
Yeah.
But you can hear the first two little things I put in.
So if this one, because this is just controlling a change to this pitch.
Yeah.
So if I go back to the original pitch, I can move all of it like
Yeah,
that.
you're transposing the whole thing.
Whoa. Okay, and I understand that.
Yeah.
Kind of pretty.
Yeah. So the next natural thing that I would probably do with this is start controlling the volume again. So I'm going to turn that down. Here's something fun about this sequencer. So let's just take one of these outputs. I'll take the very first one, which is selected here.
We're getting even more confusing.
Yeah, but don't even worry about it for now.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to...
Are these sequencers synced?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We just have something that's constantly playing,
Yeah.
right? Every time the sequencer moves to the next pitch, which is at an even tempo, it's changing and it's just constantly going. And so to be more musical rather than just being like, there's always notes going, I'm going to go back to this maths module.
And this one is the invisible hands.
Yeah.
So this is a CV signal.
Yeah. But what I'm going to do is trigger those CV signals to happen only on certain beats. So I'm going to slide all these to 0.
Okay, explain to me this.
Right.
Yeah.
So each of these sliders sets the probability that on that step of the sequence, it will actually fire.
We're getting really complicated here. So that they're all to the left.
If they're all to the left, nothing happens.
So now we're using like random sequences.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
Okay, so this
let's
sequence,
just
is
slide.
this sequence synced with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is slide one all the way to the right.
And that's sliding the probability to that be 100%,
100%.
you're going to get a note that time.
So let's do maybe just like every quarter note this would be. It's every 4. So I'm going to trigger this invisible hands.
So every time in that sequence, this is going to trigger this, which is going to...
So one interesting thing with this is you're hearing some notes sneak in after the triggers, right? The envelope doesn't close fast enough, so the next note is sneaking through while it's still turning down the volume. If I make this short enough, we just get this sequence, right? Every quarter note, we get whatever note happens to be coming out there. This is generating a really quick little blip of control voltage that lets the volume through that.
And this, okay, so this is the sequencer, and you have it set to where every quarter note in this sequence, you go to here. That gives you an envelope, which is then going towards the volume. And this sequencer is changing the notes to be in a musical way, but it's only getting through because every quarter note, this is triggering it in. All right,
volume. Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah.
So a fun thing to do is introduce a little probability where, let's say I turn some of these down to half. You always hear that one that's 100, and every once in a while some of the other ones come through. And if we just I love to do this, just randomly slide a few of the others to be lower. Now you get a sequence that's like, there's noticeable parts to it that are going to be similar.
But I guess as long as you have that, maybe if we have every 4, then we at least have a constant. Let's at least get it a constant beat before we go to like full, like. Okay, so that's because we know that there's a 100% probability of the quarter notes.
Yeah.
Wow, I see how this can get like. We're not even using 10% of the board. Maybe we're using, I don't know. Only using. Okay. Oh, and here's the notes here. I didn't even notice that.
Well, that's not the notes that are coming out of here because there's like so many channels on both of these modules. But
okay. But I understand.
The notes would be this LED. The brighter the light is, the higher the note is.
Okay, so here's the probability. Yeah. Okay, so if I wanted to do every 8th note, I would bring the probability of all these
every
up.
Other one. Yeah.
And then.
Make sure that one's fully 100. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And then if I bring this up, the fall knob.
Yeah, that's the decay of the envelope, so how long it takes to turn the volume back down.
And then I can move the key of everything. That is satisfying. Because this is the first thing in the chain, so the butterfly effect starts here, kind of. Okay, I understand this. Can we put some reverb on it?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. How will we do that though? Since it goes, will we bring it to a reverb and then to the mixer?
I would take it from after I put the reverb right at the end because you have the volume controlling the sound, and you want the reverb to not be like coming in and out, but be more of a constant thing.
I could see how if you had it closer in the chain, you could do some crazy stuff with reverb.
Oh yeah.
There's a module with a real spring.
Do you want to send it to the spring reverb?
Yeah, let's send it to the spring reverb.
Okay, because the spring is really fun to play with.
Okay, so we're gonna send the whole thing.
Send
to
everything
the spring.
to the spring, and then we're going from the spring now to our mixer.
If you're not familiar with spring reverbs, I have a video on analog reverb machines that's like an hour. Whoa!
There we go. So that's with the reverb fully lit.
So this is the physical. Oh!
Yeah, you're muting all the vibrations, right?
Spring reverb works where you send the audio into the spring, and then the spring reverberates, and then there's another pickup on it that then takes it, and you hear the reverberations. That's how spring reverbs work. And so if I actually press it, it stops. Or you can play it. Yeah, so heavy. Yeah, literally. Ah.
Yeah.
It's actually very pretty, and I kind of want the fall to be.
Yeah.
So if we go all the way wet, or all the way dry, that's the original signal. This isn't doing anything. And then dry and wet is the more of the spring we hear. Oh, cool. Got the feedback. Let's do it like real wet reverb. That's so cool.
Yeah, it gets.
I love the design of these too. Like if you look at.
Oh yeah, some of them are beautiful.
Yeah, because with this, like there are companies that just make the individual modules.
Yeah.
So they can really.
There's a ton of different companies.
Yeah, they can really get creative with it. And it seems like some of these you can play, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay, I understand this. I understand what's going on. There's a lot, but I get it. I like the reverb too.
It's like put the sound in the space rather than
Yeah. Yeah,
it turns it into something that feels more.
So if I go all the way right here.
We can maybe switch off the effects within the feedback pad.
Oh, I didn't realize I was even doing that. And just like this guy, which we've already learned is invisible hands, we can apply those invisible hands to the dry wet signal, to the feedback, in whatever you want. There's just an infinite amount of possibilities.
Exactly, you can have it like go up with every note, you can have it like be on for a bar and off for a bar, like whatever you want it to do.
I could definitely see how this is kind of like a relaxing, like a very meditative. You could spend just hours and you're creating a patch, and especially with this random, this generator, whatever you call it. Like we can go, if we put all these in the middle, we just got pure random.
50-50. I think you'll hear it better if we dial back this decay.
Yeah, and let me change the key over here.
Maybe a little less on the.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback.
Just to. It's a bit better.
Let's get.
You love that pitch knob, huh?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, like anything that I can like perform.
Well, so here's an idea. Would you want to connect something so that you can change the pitch of everything, but have it all stay in key?
How would you do that?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a really fun thing because this, instead of it just being like kind of like you turn it up and everything just kind of like goes and wavers. What we could do instead is take the output of this sequence.
Because you can add these invisible hands to what notes you're playing too.
That's exactly.
And since this is like, you can decide this is in a certain key, and and you can also make it random to where it's gonna be random notes.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is put this through another VCA.
VCA is what?
Voltage controlled amplifier.
Yeah. Ooh, what's this?
Yeah, you're hearing just the springs going. It's just gonna be like clicks, I think, if I go fully dry. Yeah, because I pulled the pitch out.
Oh yeah, this module isn't on anymore.
Yeah.
This is what it was without that. That's kind of cool. And is this still on?
Yeah. Well,
okay,
that's
so I can go to
this
quarter
envelope.
notes.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can put down. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so if I'm going to take this pitch sequence through this voltage controlled amplifier and then take that signal into what is called a quantizer, and I'll just set this to a major scale.
What is a quantizer?
So a quantizer takes any voltage and kind of rounds it to the nearest pitch of whatever you set. So whatever comes into here, I'm forcing it to go to a major scale.
Okay. The CV you're forcing to a major scale?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I need a longer cable.
So it basically gives you like a step ladder almost.
Exactly.
It just moves it
exactly.
to really...
Like no matter what
so you're always
CV
gonna
you
be
feed
in
it,
key.
it snaps to the key.
Okay.
So now when I plug this back into the pitch, if we change, we have our same sequence going through the VCA, right?
Yeah.
So it's got the same shape to it, but if I dial this right down, I'm gonna extend the decay a bit.
Yeah.
As you change this, everything stays in key, but if you turn it higher, you get a melody with a bigger range.
Oh, okay.
And if we go all the way up.
Oh, now the range is great. Wow.
Yeah.
So if we put it somewhere,
Just this knob is controlling
it's the range of notes that you will hit.
Yeah.
And this is...
Oh, that's nothing. Nothing's patched.
Oh, nothing's patched. Is this patched?
This is patched just to this one.
Okay, so these do nothing now.
Yeah, those are doing nothing right now.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and then also you can see the notes that this is rounding everything to right here, right?
Oh, and these are the major scale?
Yeah.
Oh, I see here. This is the major scale.
Yeah, it's like a keyboard.
Yeah, it's a keyboard. And you could choose like to add that note into it, or
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's wild that you can choose. Can we get a little bit of reverb on it?
Yeah. You know what I'm
Okay.
thinking, too?
Yeah, I see how you like this.
You know how you're hearing as you turn the knob, sometimes the pitch kind of like it changes in the middle? I'm gonna send the same trigger that's triggering the envelope to trigger the pitch changes. So it will only choose a new pitch when it's being triggered to, instead of constantly rounding whatever CV is getting. It's so now you're not getting those kind of like ghost notes in between.
I don't understand.
Okay,
why.
so here I'm like turning this, and you can hear it like change all the time.
Yeah.
That's because this is constantly rounding whatever you're sending it. But now I'm gonna say only round it when you get a trigger from the same sequence that is triggering those notes to come out.
I get it.
Right? So now when I turn the knob, it's just like whatever it happened to catch while it was getting the trigger, it holds that note.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like the spring too. That's pretty.
Yeah.
And if I change this again, that's still the beginning of the.
Yeah, and it changes the whole key of everything.
Oh.
Because that's the raw.
The raw. So this is the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Still. Oh, so I need to wait to It doesn't sound pretty to me anymore, but because I was so used to the other key, I think, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound as good.
I mean, we could also just like change up the sequence and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I could definitely see how you come in here and then like 10 hours later, you have what we started with the video.
But like if I restrict this to say a pentatonic scale.
Could you give me a major seventh?
Yeah, just a major seventh?
Yeah, just a major seventh. Oh, give me a fifth and
fifth and seventh. Maybe
fifth and
major
octave?
7 chord?
Yeah, major 7 chord.
1, 3, 5, 7.
That's pretty. I guess you can kind of play it where like.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Now what would this do?
Well, this is sending the original pitch sequence that we are expanding and contracting with the VCA.
Okay, and then if I turn all these off, this is our sequencer, and now we're gonna get nothing.
Yeah.
Well, except for we get the feedback from the spring. So if I just do 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to 4. And I'll put, and then these are, the randomness really like, let's put them all on. Except for maybe the beginning. Let's get a sequence in that sounds as pretty as possible.
Cool.
You know, like background, just a wash of pretty sound.
So I mean, what I might
How
do
would we
for
go about that?
I would say we probably want to slow this down.
Can we change the speed of this
Yeah,
first?
yeah. So we could just
That's the speed of
turn
it?
the tempo right down.
sound all the way up. And just turn on all these.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much easier to just make noise.
Yeah, oh yeah. This is kind of the classic modular thing that tends to happen because it's the easiest thing to do.
I understand this.
Yeah, I mean, this is getting prettier already.
Yeah.
One thing that I think could be cool is if we set it to a regular rhythm, and then we get the invisible hands to control the range of the melody.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take some more invisible hands here. This is just like creating a really slow wave, just like
all this
and down.
All this right here is just.
So I'm gonna apply
hands.
that to our.
Oh, the one I was using earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about this one.
So maybe I'll dial it in so it's just like not having an extreme effect.
Yeah.
And then what do we want? Maybe like.
Let's do just a nice third.
Scale.
A nice third, and yeah.
Okay, so I don't want it to go all the way closed. I'm gonna start with this knob a little higher. So we get this repeated rhythm. We know we're always in the key, but this is making us go like a smaller melody range, larger melody range.
Yeah.
Kind of like changing that up for us.
Ooh. Well, let's try to get the prettiest patch we possibly can.
I might change maybe the attack of the notes.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds like a flute. So maybe we
that
take.
sounds a lot nicer.
Maybe we take this.
So it's less bloopy because it builds up into the note?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and again, this is controlling the sequencer.
I think it sounds nice if we modulate that, where it's like some shorter notes, some longer notes.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would take this invisible hand up and down thing
this one.
through a VCA to be able to control the amount that it's controlling the attack. So we're going to plug the output of that to the rise.
And that's, again, just like something moving that. So now if I move that, it's already being moved.
It's already being moved, but you're sort of setting like the central point, and it'll move it back and forth from there.
Okay. That's pretty.
You know what I think would be really nice with this is some delay. Rhythmic delay, so that we don't have just one note at a time, but some of them are going to harmonize with each other.
So you have like delay modules.
Yeah. Let's see, what's a good one to use? I'm going to use this dual looping delay. I'm going to put the whole thing through the reverb after the delay.
So now we've taken out the very last signal to the speakers.
This will go to the delay first.
And this is the delay module.
And then we will go to the reverb again. So now what I'm going to do is take another cable, and actually we'll use one of these fun flashy cables I think it'll reach, where let's set channel 8 to be at 100% of everything. So this is another channel on the sequencer. Where
so this sequencer can have 8 different sequences going at once.
Yeah. Oh, and actually this one I've set to a different speed even. So you can have like it going a quarter of the speed of the main sequence or whatever. So now, I'm changing it back so it's changing on every single note.
That's something that's kind of confusing about these, which is like, what you see here is one of these.
Exactly.
And you can set them, so it's like these are in different spots for every one. There's like a virtual. All of these knobs have like multiple places they're in.
Exactly.
Both physical and behind that. And that's you reset it.
This is me getting one sequence so that it's always firing at 100. Actually, it's even clearer because of these special cables that light up. So what I'm doing
that's cool.
is I'm setting this to ping the delay. What that basically means is it's going to be in the same tempo as our sequence. This is a thing with modular where like you want your stuff to be synced up sometimes. So now, half dry, half wet on the delay. We can change from different speeds of delays. So they're always going to be in time. That sounds like it's a 16th note delay. there.
Though I like just where we're at now.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, let's keep it there.
You can modulate the amount of feedback on the delay if you wanted. Have it really layer up. Come back down to not much. But maybe we want like a third delay. 3/16, I mean.
That's nice. Is there a way we could get like a chord underneath that? Like, could we get a major chord? How would you go about
Could maybe, but see, that's the other thing with modular is you probably would want a specific chord generating module, which I don't have, because if we really wanted a chord without a chord generating module, you would need to tune the amount of notes you want in your chord. That's how many oscillators you need, and then you have to tune them all.
Oh.
Which is the one pitfall of modular. I mean, they do make digital chord generating modules now, but generally people don't do a lot with that traditional type of chords in modular because you need an oscillator per note of the chord.
Yeah.
So that is
So that's how we only have one oscillator, and we're just doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I have a few other oscillators here, but it would just be like so much trouble to actually set up a chord. Where if I wanted to do a chord, I would just bust out a regular.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The interesting thing too about modular is like the only thing you really need to wrap your head around is the waves.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all just waves.
The only thing you have to understand is each module does something different to those waves. Maybe it makes waves. Maybe it turns down and up waves. Maybe it makes really fast waves, really slow waves. And that's everything. Like, that's all of music is just a wave hitting our ears.
Yeah.
There's tons and tons to learn about individual modules. But at the end of the day, it's also like this sequencer, that's just generating a wave that's like on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. The pitch sequence is just like a wave that's like here for this note, here for this note, here for the really high note. A lot of the modules you can make do the same thing, even though they're different modules. It's just more about which workflow do you like. This one has probability.
Yeah, the probability that's new to me.
Yeah, it's a super fun.
I mean, there's no other
aspect
instrument
of
I think that I
modular.
have that has like a probability. I guess in your playing, like
Yeah,
if you
you
go
can
for a
just
fast solo,
decide.
there's a probability you're not going to hit the high C or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just weird that you can put it in there.
Yeah. You're just like, this note I only want to happen 30% of the time.
Well, let's keep going with this and just try to make the prettiest possible patch we can. It's already like the reverb adds a lot.
It really does.
Yeah. The delay too is really cool. I mean, we have so much to work with here. Like,
maybe we want to get like a bass note under it to just like
Yeah.
drone and anchor it.
How would we do
let's
that?
first pull out an oscillator to give us a low note. I'm gonna
so to
grab-
have two oscillators.
Yeah. What's another oscillator that we want to use? I'm trying to think of one that's not going to be like crazy complicated.
What is WTF oscillator?
This is actually a prototype, but it'll work just fine.
Can I see that thing move?
Yeah. It has two different waves, which are in the red and blue, but the white is the wave that's actually getting through, and that is like a window between the waves. So you're like changing the shape of the wave by showing how much of the first wave versus the front and back wave you want to have come through.
Ooh.
You just tune it to the drone note you want. Oh, that's nice. We got like a minor thing going on. That's pretty. Yeah.
Tuning by dials is definitely new for me.
Modulating these tonal parameters while it's going. Or maybe we just want to filter it.
Yeah, so let's get the drone note. And could we change this to like go from like the one note to like a fifth above to an octave?
Yeah, totally.
Let me find the wave I want. Oh, that's interesting how it...
If you want to just like go all the way to just this oscillator, that's how you would do it.
Something like that without the...
Yeah, but I think we should also filter it. That just gives us more options for tone. So I'm gonna.
I just want to find that. I think I got the note.
So I'm gonna filter it so that we can kind of mellow it out if we want to. Get that. Come in and out.
Oh, jeez. I also like this one, whatever this does.
Oh, that's another sequencer.
How can we turn this down in the mix?
Oh,
On the mixer.
Plugged into this part of the mixer, so.
Yeah, that's probably a good spot for it. I still don't quite like this. Ooh, jeez.
Yeah, this one's like a pretty harsh oscillator.
Yeah, this one. I guess it is WTF oscillator.
Yeah.
It seems a little flat. Oh, I don't know. I want to play it. I want to keep it. Does that sound good to you?
Even the tiniest bit.
Yeah. You want to just do it? You have a much better ear than I do.
Actually, we can also
Oh.
up an octave.
That's so much easier.
Check it.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. If we could get it to oscillate between like this note and like a fifth, and then.
Yeah. So how would we do that? We would just set a much slower sequence.
And I could see like if we had like a mix oscillation where like one thing comes in, like the higher part comes in, and the bass comes in.
Right. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
We could totally.
So it's not as static, like it's moving. And especially if we could get oscillation that isn't a part of the sequencer, then it would be
Should
more.
this drone also go to the reverb and delay? So
Maybe
then-
a different reverb.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
let's go to do a different reverb.
Smart.
Can you turn off this so we could just hear the bass and hear what we're doing with that?
Yeah. Sure. Let's mute that.
And then we just can't touch any of the tuning knobs. If I touch
Yeah.
anything on there, we're just...
Yeah. Let's go to this reverb, and then we'll come out of that to our mixer.
How many
Just gonna go
oscillators do
halfway
you
to
have
some-
on this?
I have no idea.
And I guess you're always changing it out too, because you can just quickly take any modules out and put other ones back in.
Yeah, exactly. So filter that down a bit. We've got this reverb happening, which, I mean, we won't hear too much of what the reverb is doing until we change
Of course,
notes.
yeah, and it's just one note.
Let's get it. Yeah, that's nice. So
Yeah.
as this modulates, if we get a slow wave, bringing that in and out.
So let's bring one of these invisible hands
Yup.
to that filter.
So we'll plug that into here, see what amount we want.
Let's make it really slow.
Yeah. I think this is about the slowest it can go.
That's pretty. Yeah.
Should it fade in one note, then fade in the other note?
I would imagine the notes change, I think, shouldn't be sequenced with this.
Yeah,
So that there's more random element to it. Hopefully we can make something that you could listen to for like hours.
Yeah.
You never hear the same exact thing twice.
Sweet. I guess I'm gonna set up a sequence here.
And this one can have 8 sequences.
The length is only gonna be 2
Uh-huh.
because we're only gonna switch between 2 notes to start with
Okay.
anyway. It's going back and forth like that. I want to slow this right down. Yeah. So I've got my 2. I need another sequencer that's gonna choose those 2 notes. We'll use this one you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Clock into here. I gotta make sure it's taking the external clock that I was just sending it. External, cool. The sequencer is sending out its tempo basically, just like we were doing to the delay.
But it's a different tempo than what the other sequences have.
No, it's the same.
Same, okay.
Yeah. But so now we're also using it to sync up this sequencer.
We make it so it changes notes at a different tempo than the other sequencer.
We don't even need to sync these sequencers.
Oh yeah, because that's what we were
Why
doing
not?
with this.
Yeah, we'll make it internal.
It's just its own thing, so they'll be
Yeah.
out of sync, which means there'll be a lot more randomness.
Yeah. Turn off all the notes except 2.
Yeah.
And then we set 1, 2, I mean, it could be anything, G, and then D. That'll be a 5th.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't really matter what the notes are because we can tune the next oscillator that we're going to use. We're going to take the CV from channel 1. Let's see if this worked how I want.
Okay, so this is now... I'm so control.
Oh, that's almost kind of too fast. Let me turn down the...
Yeah, real slow.
Oh, wait. And that's also the wrong... I was in a way different octave.
Yeah.
We should, if we're G0, we should also be D0. Sure what? Oh, there's the note change. Let's change it right back. I gotta slow it down. Shoot, I can't remember where the tempo page is on this.
Oh, there we go. Well, do you have another oscillator in there? We don't need to use that one, even though it looks really cool.
You know what we could do is use the same one we were using before.
Oh.
That's faster than one. What I was gonna do is like change the speed of this sequence and only set it to have 2 notes. usually patch, so
Yeah.
I'm figuring out how to do it. Okay, so now we have it switching between those two fifths because I've just sequenced it to be one note
Yeah.
and another note, and I'm also going to slow down this version of the sequence.
Would it be possible to get to roll between the two or no?
Yeah, we could do that.
And then put some like delay on it or something so it sticks around.
Yeah. What? I'm going to do it in a different way. I can clock this at a totally different rate.
Yeah.
And then we also want that pitch to slew, which is like the gliding. that
Yeah,
you were
rather than going.
describing. Yeah. So,
Because I see this on a lot of these
yeah.
little modules like that symbol. And then maybe could we put like we could use the sequencer to put a drum beat behind it then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a slew command on here?
No, I'm sending it through a module where like whatever comes into it, if it receives a voltage change, it like takes a little time to get there. I don't know why it's not gliding. I wonder if this one doesn't glide.
Maybe we just have it go from two notes, but we just put a bunch of delay on it so the other note sticks around so it's not as sharp.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we could do that.
The very specific note sequencing is not something I do a lot of because my whole attraction to modular is like making things where I just kind of set the guidelines. And if I wanted to play a very specific bass line, I would just like play the because this is not the fastest way to do it.
So I'm not really looking at this. I'm just so used to, this is a very different instrument.
Well, and if you wanted to approach it the way that you're talking about, you probably have a slightly different selection of modules. You could
You probably just have, if I wanted a bass line, then you would just have one of these attached to it.
Yeah.
And that's just not what this does.
We can still get like part of the way there. We had the two notes that we wanted. They're going through that reverb. If we once again have this like fading thing, should give us...
That's just a different way of thinking of an instrument. It's like you just set the rules and then just let it go.
I feel like it's giving us more notes than I asked it to.
Yeah, we just want two.
Oh, you know what? I didn't actually set the... Since it's only two notes. I'm going to... Okay. So I had to delete all the extra steps in that sequence, so now it is just back and forth. And
can we make that really slow?
We can slow that down. So I'm gonna have it trigger like semi-randomly off of one of these other channels.
Okay.
Let's go back to probability. We can set all of these at like 50, let's say, so that there's a 50% chance on every 16th note that it'll trigger the note change. Maybe that even is too fast. We can find out.
Can we bring in the higher part too now?
Oh yeah, of course. We'll have to tune them again.
Yeah. Trying to look at this like a regular instrument,
right? Yeah,
is just.
It's such a different approach to any other kind of
totally.
music. That's the interesting thing about it.
Is this like trying to play chords and stuff? It's just not what this is about.
Yeah. Unless you really want it to be, but it's probably not the most effective approach for that. It's like really excels at sound design and at this kind of generative stuff where you're like, here are the parameters that I want the invisible hands to play within. Making beats where fills are generated automatically.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is really fun. Actually, for this video, I should probably send you like different clips of other patches I've done, just so you can get a wide variety of more than we'd have the time to patch today.
Totally.
Just different kinds of sounds you put in. Sure.
What would you do at this point, actually?
I think this is a nice vibe, and maybe like we could just get like a drum underneath it.
Okay. I don't really like the bass line not being room. Let's get like the. Yeah.
And
what's the other
binary?
note?
Find out soon.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah.
I'm gonna get the filtering going back.
Oh, I like this.
This is really nice.
This thing is awesome. I want to turn it down.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like we have the notes there. Maybe add more modulation.
Maybe like
Just
we
maybe
don't
with
have the
space
delay
here.
constantly going. We can have it be like intermittent.
Mm-hmm.
We get a dry version of the audio that we would keep. Yes, we get the dry going to another channel. Yeah. And then we'll turn the delay fully wet. And
So
then
that
we
we're splitting
will-
the dry and the wet signal
Yeah.
into two different.
But I'm also going to put the split signal that's going to the delay through another VCA so that we can have another invisible hand like sending it to the delay and then taking the delay.
You know, looking at it all at once, it seems really confusing, but it is kind of all the same concept.
Right, yeah, yeah. One thing that could be nice is modulating the feedback and delay time.
Yeah, yeah.
So not only are we only occasionally sending notes there, but every time you do, it's not the exact same delay.
I'd love to get another reverb on it too. Do you have other reverbs?
We're using that one. We're using this one for the bass. Yeah, I got another like multi-function module. There's a bunch of different flavors of reverb. Maybe we split this again,
Yeah.
and then some notes go to that.
And we just get a tower of this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
First, we want to figure out the modulation of this thing. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this modulator, which generates a lot of random signals. So we'll
Like
take
random CV signals or
random CV, yeah. So basically, every time it gets one of these clock sync pulses,
Yeah.
these three outputs just generate a new value. Like just a random new value,
Yeah.
like anything between 0 and 5 volts or something like that. So we can apply that to, say, the delay time and the delay feedback.
There's so much randomness here.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things modulators have all these different control possibilities, but the fun is letting the machine make some of the decisions for you. And also, oh yeah, we still didn't have get this thing set up where all this summer time notes are being sent to the delay. Yeah, we're splitting that signal again. Can you hand me two black patch cables? Now I need to just pick some other semi-random thing that will decide how often we send a note to the reverb. Let's just hear the reverb. So there's like, it's fully wet because it's going to be mixed with choose. Oh, I kind of like that. It's
Yeah.
very ghostly. So now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn down the volume of that because we're gonna get something else to decide how often a note goes out there.
Mhm.
Because this is internally connected to the CV above it, if you want to use the same CV, it's already there. But if you plug something in here, it takes over
Mm-hmm.
some other random signal. Maybe the final invisible hand from this
Yeah.
module.
Oh, and I see you have the different waves and how fast
Yeah.
they go.
And instead of making it super regular, we could have another random signal control the speed of that wave.
I love when reverb has a, it's like called sway maybe, like the reverb gets lower in pitch as it goes away.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's really cool, and I'm hearing that in there.
Yeah, this is a beautiful reverb.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn everything else back on and we'll
Yeah.
hear that reverb occasionally.
I can really see how you could just spend hours and hours doing this, of course.
Yeah. And like a lot of the times the final sound is just as important as the whole journey of getting
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Like a lot of the times it's the enjoyment of exploring and discovering more so than just like, I want to finish a track, you
Mhm.
know? But yeah, both are possible.
would change the notes.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're constraining them to just the low notes.
Oh, okay. Will this change the tempo of the sequence?
Yeah, yeah.
Could we put like some type of modulation on this?
Yeah.
How would we do that?
We would send an external clock to this and then modulate the speed of the external clock. So, what would we do for
I keep forgetting that all these are. There's some randomness to it.
that? Which channel do you want to be affecting right
Oh,
now?
I was thinking like the first one with
Oh,
the
yeah,
notes.
yeah, that one.
Just put a different rhythm in there. Like 4.
I'm gonna go with your idea of making the timing kind of go faster and slower. Was that your thought?
That could be cool.
So now with this big bright light, we can. So now we can patch something to control the speed of this. Take another one of these waves through the VCA. There, so you can see it like slowing down and speeding up.
So now it's just kind of random notes, but still within here.
Yeah,
I could just get it to one note.
yeah. Different octaves, but yeah.
Yeah.
Just one note.
I'm trying to go up in thirds, but it's not working. Spooky.
Yeah.
That's the reverb. Is there a way to get like some percussive noises?
Yeah, what kind of percussion are you thinking?
Let's turn the volume off, or turn those down. Could I use this to play different noises?
Yeah, but what type of noises? 'Cause I'll
Just
have
like
to
a
set 'em up.
drum. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
guess you just
a-
have to set them up because it's a modular synth.
Yeah. Do you want a kick drum? Do you want a snare drum?
Yeah,
anything?
how give me a snare. Turn off everything except for
Oh, yeah.
what you're working on. How do I do
Let's
that? Well, now we're just doing the reverb.
that one
All
should be
these.
on there.
Oh, that one. Oh. Ooh, we could get something. We could get a sequencer to do that too. Now I can see how it could really explode because we could have made this whole patch, and then just put it through this to get a sequencer to do this, and
Yeah.
then we make something else somewhere else, and
Yeah.
then bring it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, everything is open. You know, there's so many possibilities.
How do we make a snare drum with this?
Do you want to make a snare drum from scratch? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's gonna be intense, but it's doable.
Okay.
If you think about a snare, it's like pretty noisy, right?
Uh-huh.
So let's listen to some white noise.
So this just generates noise.
Yeah. Different flavors of noise. This one at the bottom is really crackly.
Mhm.
But yeah, if we just get
White noise,
White
and then put an
noise.
envelope on it,
exactly.
and then we can get like a snare.
Yeah, so again, gotta put it through a VCA. Use a shorter cable because there's a VCA right here. Here. So you have that
Yeah.
volume control for the white
Mhm.
noise.
Whoa, what's that?
This is
Oh, that's the
trigger-
sequence.
Yeah. This is what we're using to trigger the notes.
Mm.
So
So
that's
we
like
could move that to here, and then we could trigger the snare.
we'd have to go through something else first because this whatever pad you're selected on here is constantly sending a high voltage.
Okay.
So this would be like snares on, snares off.
Yeah.
I think we could use the gate because we could trigger an envelope that only reads when the voltage goes high and then ignores the rest of it. So just the first like rising edge. Let's see if I'm right. So this was going to control this volume. Let's. Oh no, you'd have to go away and back.
Oh.
So that's not really what this one's meant for.
Yeah.
Unless maybe we take the pressure output, which is like pretty much like the amount of skin contact that you have.
Yeah.
So if we take that, it might work. No, it's not. It's not enough strength to actually trigger the envelope. We could use these maybe. I think there's a mode where I should be able to just. Yeah,
oh, all right.
Use that button as a trigger. And then again, I've got the envelope decay. But this is just like a very basic, obviously, basic snare sound.
Yeah.
Where you might want to layer something more tonal on top of it. So
Yeah.
one other thing for layering into drums is like a pitch that drops. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you think about hitting a drum,
Boom.
it's like the skin vibrates super fast when you first make impact or contact, but then it slows down because the skin's stretched so tight.
So we would have this also trigger something else that's a tone that goes new.
Yeah. There are some things in modular that make this slightly easier. We could just trigger a specifically built drum module.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just to...
And does that have built-in samples of drums?
This is synthesized, so there's a lot of control over it. Yeah,
Oh.
so I'll turn off the white noise one that we had. Oh, sorry, that's this one. And so here we can choose like different modes. There's your decay sound. You can change the pitch of it. Maybe make it really short and snappy.
Yeah.
So this is kind of designed where
Yeah.
like you automatically get that pitch drop thing because people use this specifically
Yeah.
to make drums, and if we mix it in with
The
our
white
other
noise.
white noise,
Yeah, kind of sounds like a drum.
yeah, fine tune that.
Ooh. And I guess you could use this and put these into there to get a bunch of different, like 4 different sounds from
Yeah.
this. In a synthesizer that had a drum machine, like an old school one, it essentially had this behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Analog drum synthesizers were built where you get like 1 or 2 oscillators for each drum sound, and it would just do these modulations. It would have like a quick pitch drop with a blast of noise, and they would fine tune the amount of volume decay and all that to make it so that no matter where you put the knobs, it's some type of drum sound.
Yeah. And then this just allows you to take every single part of it apart and put it back together again.
Yeah. So you can really craft exactly what you would want. And it's not for everybody. Some people would rather just download a snare sample and go. You could do a combination of like layering a sample on top of this if you have a sampling module.
Let's get the same patch, but here, and just change the parameters. Can we do that to get a kick drum?
That would be complicated to make the same thing into a kick drum, but we could
use
just
a different module.
Use a different module. I have a kick module, number 2 kick module.
And then we can use the sequencer, add a different sequence, and get a kick and snare rhythm into this.
Exactly. So try triggering that kick drum.
All right.
Right?
Ooh, I love in songs. Like, "Meow, meow, meow, meow."
There's like a few different types of sounds you can get out of this particular really tiny kick module.
That's awesome. Now let's bring the sequencer into here and get a kick snare pattern.
Although actually, this is not what I would use for that. I would just
No.
move these to the sequencer. We already have this going, so if we... Maybe I'll take the
Wait,
speed change away.
let's get a blast beat in there.
Yeah,
Oh, do
wait,
we have
gotta
this one?
Take away the tempo
Take away the
control,
speed change.
and then...
Hold on, let's get a blast beat in there.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Now, if you want to... Oh, we've got, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to, like, program your
This would be
speed,
the kick.
you just...
Yeah. And, oh, and because of the randomness, you can add, like,
Yeah.
variation.
I'm going to zero out the snare.
Yeah, so the snare. Let's see.
We could do like snare on 2 and 4 to start.
Yeah.
And then just like whatever
Oh,
kind of
okay.
kick pattern you want.
Well, how do I get the? Now we're on the kick.
I just selected the kick channel. Yeah.
So I can move these and they're not going to affect the snare.
Any of these are going to just affect
Okay.
the kick.
But why are we getting more than one?
Because these ones are actually still set.
Oh,
somewhere.
you have to move them to reset them?
Yeah, yeah. Because
Oh,
every
okay.
time you change channels, the sliders are
Of course, yeah.
still in the positions from your last channel.
Okay. Let's just get on the one. And I want this to come in half the time.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
There we
you
go. Yeah,
In the coin
okay.
toss, you just got 4
yeah.
heads.
Yeah. Let's see. I like this one at maybe half the time. Okay, just for fun. Okay, now let's get something, you know. Ooh.
This is always a fun thing. Like you
Yeah.
work on something and you like mess a bunch of things up, and then you bring back the other, like our melody and bass
Yeah.
that we were doing before, and you're like, how's this gonna go?
Yeah, who knows? And you could put this through reverb or use this new sequence to also control effects on the other stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, every time you hit the snare,
Yeah.
you could change the like pitch of other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, yeah, it's just okay. I like it. Let's bring in everything else. What does that sound like?
Okay.
Ooh, wait. And this tempo is everything in the sequence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Chiller.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, so the reverb that I had on earlier, which one was it? Let's turn that all the way up. And then can we get another oscillator turn that on and off?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's do that.
So it'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Ooh, wait, first let's put it in here. Could you get this button to turn it on and off?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Already, like,
Yeah, like,
but I understand it for the most part.
you understand both how things are working, but also why it's fun.
Yeah, oh, totally. I was never in doubt about why this was fun.
Okay, yeah.
It just took me a second to find the fun way to do it.
Actually, here's one way we can find it real quick. Yeah, this would stay lit up.
Oh, that's too bad. Because I want to go like ba 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 ba. This is why you end up having this many modules. You're like, oh, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's only $200 more. Okay, I'll buy one more module.
I feel like the module I have that could do that, I don't have in my case right now because I was making a smaller, like,
Yeah.
making case. There's gotta be. I mean, you can always just go on, off, on.
Yeah,
off
let's
with
do
this
that.
one. Alright, so I'm just connecting that to the two.
Oh,
There you go.
that's so cool. I guess I keep double tapping. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, because you're doing one on triggering the snare with. It was this one. This module like combines signals. We're gonna take what we were using to trigger the snare to go there, and now it's also going to those two modules. And now we're gonna send this one. This button will be snare.
Cool. Yeah.
And then you just plug it into one of these, and it'll
This
combine both of those signals.
Okay.
And the other part of the snare was this drum.
I totally see having the randomness in there.
Oh
now.
wait, this snare is ratcheting. Let me turn off the like, note repeat we accidentally had on there from when I was previously using that.
Yeah. And let's get that bass kick in there too.
From that one to here. This was also the kick. So kick was here, I think.
Yeah, let's bring everything else back in. Let's turn up the. Try to put it in a different key by tuning that, or is that too risky?
Well, we'd have to tune up the bass again. I would just say you choose different notes from here.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's try that. Why am I doing this? Let's get some invisible hands to do it. Yeah.
The sequencer, change those instead of it being smooth, it can like change with one of these sequencers.
Yeah.
It's jumping between.
Yeah. I really want to change the key. I just don't know how risky it is for us to lose this bass. Oh, that's cool. Turn the bass up. Maybe lose the high notes for now. Let's just listen to the bass. Oh, that's cool. And that it shows you that it's moving as well.
I can take off that filtering so we hear.
Yeah.
This is doing.
And that's just this module being messed around with other stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Ooh, that's cool. Ooh, let's bring that drum kit back
And this slider, move around, controls.
Ooh.
That modulation. It's also recording everything you do. As soon as you stop touching it, it'll keep.
Oh, really?
16.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. This is awesome. And I can just mess around with this.
Yeah.
What won't screw things up?
Well,
Want to tune it? Want to just...
if you want, we could just forget about the other patch. We have a lot of recording of it.
Yeah,
And just do
yeah.
whatever you want there.
Ooh.
That's fun.
Whoa, that's awesome. What is on this?
That's the kick
That's the
channel
kick?
right now. You know what?
Dude.
We're only playing 2 notes on here. Do we want to change this so that it's playing like a ton of different notes?
Yeah. disgusting.
I'm gonna pick a different envelope here because this double trigger is annoying me. Hold on. Let me just quickly.
Could I get the reverb on this back? Just the reverb?
Yeah. What channel is it? Let's go into these two, which changes pitch to
Yeah. Can we turn these notes into just craziness?
like totally random notes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just wild sounds. Just have them pitched.
Or you know what? I could yeah, maybe each one could have a pitch envelope.
Yeah. That bass is disgusting.
So we'll just get an envelope going every 16.
Yeah.
Dial it in.
Whoa!
That's fun.
What is the spring affecting? Oh, that's higher
original,
notes.
original higher
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah, so what changes that?
Here's the amount here. one. This is the new snare I'm working on.
Yeah, and you can use the mixer to turn things off and on. Yeah, okay.
Rob Scallon.
Yeah. I love that.
Turn stuff on. Bring the reverb back on there.
Yeah.
Just making the bass sound kind of weird.
Where does this go?
What is that even going to? Oh, this is what we were using to control the tempo before.
Oh yeah, we don't want to do that. I can call it. Whoa!
What?
It is all Sonic. Everything we're playing is Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's weird,
Yeah.
like, video game techno.
Yeah.
Like it's too much kick.
yeah. At faster speeds.
Oh, you know what? You should throw a hi-hat on.
Yeah.
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 Alright, so this is gonna take the bass now into that reverb. It might be a little loud, but it can work. Change up the bass
Yeah.
frequency.
Yeah. Ooh. I like how with the mixer.
Change up the hi-hat pattern.
The mixer is the most powerful thing, is what I'm learning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what if this was just like an extra layer of snare?
Yeah. Where's the hi-hat?
Oh, the hi-hat might be in a channel that doesn't...
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
Oh, okay. So we could like build up a song. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. we been at this?
Probably.
You could have told me like.
Well,
Could have told me like 3 days. And we were like, yeah. Yeah. So much soup. You know, you could just start with. Yeah. That's so cool how the drums were made by this. All right. Yeah, this is fun. And we're not even using half of the board.
Oh no.
Not even close. Playing this feels completely different than playing an instrument. I think getting into it too, like to start, I was trying to play it like a keyboard. Like, okay, how do we get things to where I can perform them? But that's not what this is about.
Deciding how you want to approach modular is a big part of it, because you know, if you just buy modules at random, they're not going to necessarily go together cohesively. Having like an end goal in mind, whether it's like I want to be able to just like generate beats randomly, or I want to create beautiful ambient music where I just like set the scale. Like, it's all a possibility.
Well, if you are at all interested in modular synths or music or content, you should subscribe to Andrew Huang.
Lots of that where I'm coming from,
You can subscribe to my channel if you would like. I'm sure this isn't the last interesting instrument we look at on this channel. Thanks so much for being here. Subscribe to Andrew, and we'll see you next week.
Woo!
Or sometime soon. Let's just start turning knobs and see what happens.
Oh, let's do it. What else is plugged in?
I got rid of one.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the last of it.